And we're live. And I'm sharing the screen. I'm going to verify that we are live, redirecting it to YouTube. I'm going to drop this link. I want all y'all to go to YouTube, copy that link like I'm doing right now. Drop it in your group chats. Tune in live. We are live, y'all. Land back. I'm just dropping this in some chats. Y'all should too. Land back. Okay, we are live, which is fantastic. This is our class for today, y'all. This is our class for today. We are practicing self-defense for hammers. This is our classes for the Masses series. I'm Coach Soon Diata. You can call me Coach Soon, and I'm here to talk about self-defense with y'all. Self-defense is a pretty broad-ranging topic. When people say that, it's not exactly entirely clear what they mean, right? It's not exactly entirely clear who that's for or what it's going to help you to do. And there's a lot of misleading information about self-defense and what it needs to be, what you need to practice, what you need to train yourself in order to be sufficient at self-defense. We're going to let you know there's a couple of things that go into shaping self-defense, a couple of things that you can focus on, you can target to ensure that you are safer when you step out on these streets to do your revolutionary work. No feet pics. When you come to do your revolutionary work on the street, making sure that you have everything you need to be safe should the worst case scenario occur. So what we're going to do first, as always, is introduce the channel. Chief Soon Diata. You can call me Coach Soon. I am repping the African nation and the nations of Turtle Island. I rep the Petty Boo class, but I'm killing it with some class suicide, right? Ensuring that I am giving my all, dedicating myself to, committing that class suicide and uniting with the colonized masses, the poor and working class masses of colonized people. It's extremely important that we do so, especially if we come from Petty Boo families, and that's the journey that I'm on. Shout out to Chief E-Ray in the comments. Shout out to Chief Red in the comments. It's great to see y'all up in this live. I'm gonna take this down, make sure I am pinned so y'all can see me. First, we're gonna do some political education. We have to start every meeting off with political education, and I found some very, very poignant, topical PE for this class, right? We need to make sure we are politically educating ourselves as we are mentally educating ourselves and as we are physically educating ourselves. So the PE for today's class is from The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And we are going to be looking at quotes number 12 and 13 and 14. 12, 13, and 14. 3 quotes from The Art of War, something you need to be studying as a hammer to understand the struggle and every struggle, because everything is war. War is in everything. So number 12 says, therefore, in your deliberations when seeking to determine the military conditions, let them be made the basis of a comparison in this wise. 13. 1. Which of the sovereign is which of the sovereign is imbued with the moral law? 2. Which of the 2 generals has the most ability? 3. With whom lie the advantages derived from heaven and earth? 4. On which side is the discipline more rigorously enforced? 5. Which army is stronger? 6. On which side are the officers and men more highly trained? 7. In which army is there a greater constancy both in reward and in punishment? Right? By means of these 7 considerations, I can forecast victory or defeat. Right? So right there, Sun Tzu is essentially is laying out that there are 7 things that if you compare, A and B, right? Me and then the opponent, right? And you go through these 7 things and you say, this person, boom, they got the moral law. Okay, well, this person is more skilled. Okay, well, this person has the advantages derived from heaven and earth, right? Boom, this person has discipline. But the person who is, in more of these categories, more disciplined, right, stronger, right, has more ability, that's the side that's going to win. That is how you can forecast victory or defeat. And in terms of self-defense, it is incredibly important that we understand we are entering into a war, and that you must evaluate the person that you are going to be going to war with, their skills, right, their mindset, their goal, the advantages they have within the battlefield, if you will, and compare that to the advantages you have, the strength you have, the understanding you have of the situation, of the area, right? What areas surround you, what people surround you, right? To understand, we never want to enter into a battle where we forecast our own defeat, right? No good general is going to look at a battle, make these 7 comparisons and say, okay, well, even though he's got the stronger army, this the person I'm facing has more ability, they have more advantages, right? They have the moral law, they're in the right here, right? And understanding self-defense is a lot about who is in the right. We are not training ourselves, we're not working on ourselves in order to be able to afflict pain and attack and be on the offensive against someone, right? To go up to someone on the street, to start something, to get them agitated so that we may use what we've learned against them. It's not revolutionary, right? That's colonial violence. That's wanting to inflict damage. Understanding that resisting your oppression, resisting an attack, resisting danger grants you that moral law. So understanding that is very important as well. You should never go into a fight after assessing it like Sun Tzu lays out here, where you do not have the moral law on your side. You probably won't have the legal law on your side either, because that's how self-defense works. Anyway, that's our PE. Read more Sun Tzu. You can go to blackhammer.org/library, I'm sure, to find a copy of it, as well as other revolutionary texts and materials. We're going to hop right in to this class about self-defense. But first, if you want to support the channel, if you want to support the organization, and if you want to support Black Hammer Defense, Cash App your donation, your support to #BH Defenders. That's BHDEFENDERS. There, you can send us funds to help us increase the capacity of our trainings, right? Increase the amount of equipment we have to broadcast our trainings to ensure that the colonized masses are staying healthy, are staying prepared for any kind of danger, right? And are staying supported by this defense apparatus and by this organization. So send your donation to #BH Defenders on Cash App. We greatly appreciate it. It'll help us get clips for our barbell so I don't break my toes. This person is mowing a lawn. That's okay. We just gonna keep moving. We gonna roll with it. All right, so first, of course, I'm gonna speak up a little bit louder, so if it's too loud, I understand. Of course, we're gonna talk about what self-defense is, right? Self-defense, for our purposes, for all intents and purposes of this video, of this training, right, is the set of skills, right? The act of using martial arts, hand-to-hand combat, and your physical ability in order to de-escalate, escape, or survive a violent encounter, right? Understanding that, sometimes there are factors that play into people becoming violent towards you, right? Understanding there are sometimes people who wish to seek out people to be violent to. Understanding we live in a colonial system where violence is the norm, especially against colonized people, and no matter who it is, we have to make sure that we are prepared to survive another day, to serve our people, live out our beautiful lives as colonized people. So, self-defense is the set of skills, the ability, the action of ensuring that you survive an encounter that is violent, that is threatening, that is dangerous for you. Why is it important? It's important because there are a lot of situations that are violent, that are threatening, and that are dangerous for colonized people. We understand that the pigs, right, and the entire system that is supported by the pigs and supports the pigs, this colonial system, is made to do violence, to commit violence every single day on an individual scale and on a mass scale against the colonized African, indigenous, and Asian people of this world and of the United Snakes, right? So it's important we know how to survive those encounters. Now, what do we do to learn self-defense, right? What is the best way to become skilled in self-defense? What does it mean to be skilled in self-defense, right? I broke it down into a couple of categories that we can understand as being components of this umbrella term, self-defense, right? First, physical fitness, right? Your physical fitness determines your ability physically to impact the world around you in a way that is effective, that is efficient, and that is safe, right? Understanding that at one point you may have to run away from somebody, you may have to run away from something, you may have to move quickly. And in that instance, there's going to be a speed at which you will have to move to be safe, right? There's going to be a speed at which if you are a little bit slower, if you're a little bit too slow, you will not be safe, right? Your physical fitness, right? Let's say there were to be something that fell on you, fell on your leg, and you were simply not strong enough to lift it, right? That's a situation in which your physical fitness, your strength, your endurance, your flexibility comes into play as being key in your survival, right? So ensuring that we are eating healthy, we're giving our body all the nutrients that we need, we're making sure that we are staying stocked up on fiber, on protein, right? Where you're staying hydrated, right? These are all the things that feed into our physical fitness, right? Doing things like calisthenics, like running, like weight training, right? The classes that we have on Tuesday, right? On Thursday, right? Play into building that physical fitness, okay? Another part of it, so if our physical fitness first, boom, situational awareness and alertness. Now, if you know Black Hammer, if you've been in a Black Hammer training and a Black Hammer defense training specifically for how we operate our defense office, for how all of our comrades are trained to operate on the ground, pushing this revolutionary work forward through outreach, that you understand that your situational awareness and your alertness is what actually prevents you from having to be in a situation, right? In a situation where your life is at danger, right? We call it very simply keeping your head on a swivel, right? When you were out in the world, when you were walking on the street, when you were sitting in a park, when you were eating at a restaurant, are you ensuring that you know what is going on around you? Or are you focused like you have blinders on into your sandwich, right? Are you focused like you have blinders on, shut off to the world around you, into your phone and your music, into a book that you're reading? Or are you ensuring that you understand who is around you? You're watching the people around you, and you're ensuring that any kind of suspicious activity, right? Any kind of raised voices from over to your right? Any kind of, one thing we talk about is hearing vehicles, right? Hearing the squeal of tires, right? That's something that's also going to set you off and make you think, right? Understanding that you're hearing things and you're processing things. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people have chosen to really sit and focus on one thing. They have this sense of safety, which is fantastic, and it's definitely better than being paranoid. But the middle ground of being aware of your surroundings and aware of the things of life, of the universe unfolding around you as you live your own personal life is incredibly important, right? Keeping your ears open. We don't recommend walking with headphones in out on the street, okay? Because it's very easy to miss out on specific cues from sound, right? Whether that's of tires, right? Whether that's of people's voices, whether it's people's footsteps, right? That can actually assist us in knowing, oh, there's someone behind me. Oh, there's a car coming up on my left. Oh, someone's yelling my name. Someone's yelling something offensive or disturbing towards me, right? Understanding that. We also want to make sure we're keeping our eyes on a swivel, right? We're not locked into our phones as we're walking. You might run into something. You might run into the road, right? You might very well walk into somebody who doesn't like being walked into very much, right? And you're putting yourself in situations to disrespect people and to end up in a self-defense kind of situation, which we want to avoid at all costs, right? Doing our thing, living our life, doing the work that we know and love, and ensuring that we can do it for longer and longer. Another aspect, right, of self-defense is martial arts, right? Understanding the martial arts are different styles, techniques, and cultural ways of practicing self-defense, practicing athleticism, right? To name a couple: karate, taekwondo, right? Brazilian jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai and kickboxing, right? You could probably even say wrestling. You could say MMA, right? You could say a lot of different things. You could keep naming them. You may not know what any of those mean, and it is okay, because a lot of people have this misunderstanding, right? They have misconstrued that self-defense and martial arts are the same thing, and that in order to be safe walking from your car to your apartment at night, you have to be a black belt in anything, right? You have to have studied specific specific martial art, have to have committed yourself to a specific martial art in order to be safe, which is not true. I like martial arts. I think it's fun to explore and train and commit myself to learning sets of moves, sets of styles that will, give me more ability to live my life safely. But the most important thing that we can get from martial arts is not grabbing a whole one, having to digest it all, practice it all, and then you'll be ready to defend yourself. No, right? No. It's about picking, choosing, picking up on the lessons in some, right? Picking up on the skills in others, techniques over here, right? Styles over here, what not to do from here and what to do from here, right? Understanding that there are so many, and only one thing can give you more experience, can guarantee that you have more of a chance in a self-defense situation, and that's experience, right? Most people have not been in a situation where they have to use their body, have to use their hands in order to protect themselves, in order to ensure that they live another day. Most people are not in that situation prior, right? A lot of people end up being in that situation once because they do not make sure to pick and choose and understand that they have to practice a wide variety of things, right? So the only thing that's going to grant you 100% is knowledge is going to be actually living through it. In order to live through it, we have to understand that we need to learn and pick up the bare minimum, right? What are the things that I need to know, that I need to do to ensure that I survive today? And it's not always squaring up and getting into a boxing match with someone, right? Just because they threatened you, just because they shoved you, just because they punched you, right? Most times you don't want to be in a bare knuckle boxing match. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that. Another thing. So we've gone through physical fitness, right? Situational awareness and alertness, right? Martial arts, right? Understanding to take what you can, don't take it all. If you want to, you can, but we're talking about bare bones skills, being able to survive another day. We want to pick and choose, not take years or months to study and learn, because it's not going to magically make you safe. Number 4, fight ain't always right, right? Meaning, the best choice is not always to engage in violence with somebody, right? To engage in a physical form of self-defense that ensures that you're going to be doing damage to them, right? Understanding that, sometimes someone will be verbally abusive to you, may do something that constitutes physical assault, right? Or assault and battery, right? Understanding that assault is whenever you threaten to do something physically to harm someone, right? Not in self-defense, right? And assault and battery is when you threaten to do it and then you act out, you push someone, you shove someone, right? Unprovoked, right? Without it being necessary for your safety, you do that, right? There may be a time where someone shoves you, and you may think to yourself, well, legally, I could square up right now, do some self-defense, and then I'll be safe. I'll walk away, having survived, having protected myself, and being in the legal, right, being righteous legally. That is not exactly how we want to live. It's not exactly how we want to live, and what it does is it puts you in more danger than you know. Because you do not know, and this is a quote that you can quote from me. You do not know how fair a fight is at all. You will never know how fair a fight is. You don't know what's in that person's pockets, what's in that person's backpack, what's in that person's hand, right? Who that person knows. Who that person knows that's standing right behind you or beside you or to the left of you or 30 feet away from you or a phone call away from you, right? Understanding that violence is not something that two people enter into and then two people leave from peacefully, right? In this day and age, with violence skyrocketing, specifically, the use of knives, the use of firearms, right, skyrocketing, it's important that we understand that entering into a fight with somebody, you can win that fight, and that person can still decide that they want to use violence against you in a different way, in a more dynamic fashion. It's going to leave you without having that safety, without being able to survive and do this revolutionary work another day, to live your beautiful colonized revolutionary life and see liberation one day, right? You never know how fair a fight is because you cannot see what's in their pockets. You do not know what's on that person's mind. You do not know what that person is willing to do. Even if they don't have anything in their pockets, right? They may not be willing to get punched or get kicked. For instance, a popular self-defense move is the kick in the groin, right? It's often taught to women and non-men as a good way to fight off a male attacker, right? To kick them in the groin, to incapacitate them, and then to leave. There may be situations in which that could actually aggravate someone more, right? There may be situations in which that person is going to become a repeat offender of violence against you because of the self-defense, right? All this to say, it is not always the right decision. If you are able to de-escalate a situation by apologizing or verbally calming someone down or physically evacuating, right? Evacuation is a good choice. If you can do it safely, evacuation is a good choice. Someone comes up to you, shoves you, says something to you, right, is acting aggressive towards you, seem like they may be willing to use more violence against you, and you turn around and you run away. You sprint away as fast as you can, right? And they don't chase after you, they don't catch up with you, right? You get to your car, you get in your car and you drive home, right? You get to your apartment, you open your apartment door, you get inside, you lock the door, right? You get to your friends, you let your friends know, you leave with your friends, right? Those are wins. That is a self-defense victory because you live to survive another day, right? You live to fight another day. I'm just looking at these comments. I saw someone said, "Tell me how to intimidate my housemates. They have been really counter-revolutionary lately." Well, you should intimidate them with some political education and some principled criticism on how they've been acting counter-revolutionary in your mind and how you think they could be stronger revolutionaries. But there's no need to meet counter-revolutionary people or people who are struggling, who need to be criticized, who are acting unprinciply with violence per se, unless you are in danger, right? Or with the intimidation of violence, right? We want to understand. Let's help our people out, right? If the colonizers is a little bit different, hit me up. All right, that's all I'll say. Moving. So we've talked about how fight ain't always right? Sometimes the evacuation needs a little fight on it, right? So what I wrote here is compromise, a fight, then flight, right? Understanding that sometimes someone will chase after you. Sometimes pure evacuation is not the method that is the most safe, right? Someone's right up on you. Sometimes you do have to do an elbow strike, right? An elbow strike to the jaw. That's another one that's very popularly taught, right? A kick to the groin, right? Those kind of things, or even just a punch, right? And we'll demonstrate some punches, some elbow strikes, some kicks, etc. later. But sometimes a quick blow and then running is good. You can incapacitate them or stun them for a moment and then make sure that you get to safety, right? We do not want to enter into a bout where we have to knock the person out or we have to potentially danger that person mortally, put them in mortal danger in order to survive, right? We want to make sure that both people are leaving safely, that we can really get along and be happy, right? As goofy as it may sound, as hippie as it may sound, we do not want to be committing violence, right? The only reason that we are training like this, the only reason we train how to punch, how to kick, how to survive these kind of attacks is that it's for survival, right? Understanding you may one day need it, right? Another quote here is train like you'll need it, but pray you never have to use it, right? We're not looking for fights, y'all. Next, so we've gone through physical fitness, situational awareness and alertness, martial arts, fight ain't always right. Up next, there are no rules, when you're in it. There are no rules to self-defense. This is not a boxing ring. This is not a MMA octagon, right? This is not a thumb wrestling match. There are rules in sports. There are rules in combat sports meant to ensure that each of the people who is, dueling, right? Each of the people who is meeting in this combat survives and makes it to the next fight, makes it to the next day. In self-defense, it's not always the case, right? It's not the case. There are no rules. There is no ref that is going to say you can't do that, right? There is no action, and this is what I'm going to say. There is no action that is too extreme to use in order to save your life. That is the number one most important thing here. Above, how bad you'll feel, above how it might make you look to other people, how some people might say, oh, you didn't fight fair, you didn't. It does not matter because there are no rules. There are no fair fights in self-defense, right? This means there are some areas that can be of emphasis, right? When learning that it really hurts people. The eyes, the groin, right? Hair, the ears, right? These are all things that, in boxing, in Taekwondo, they don't let you, put your fingers into somebody's eyes. But if somebody is going to attack you, take away your dictatorship over your life, right? Potentially kill you, there's a minor price to pay, right? Thumbs into someone's eyes, fingers into somebody's eyes, right? It is a good way to stop that person from continuing to be around you. Stop them from continuing to be in the range of your hands and their eyes. They're going to want to get away. It may be very hard for them to continue harming you if you have impacted their eyes, right? Impacted their vision. Another one is the groin, right? Whether it is a kick, whether it is a grab, whether it is a pull, whether it is a strike, there are no penalties for attacking below the belt, right? There are no rules, right? You must do whatever it takes in this situation to survive if you truly fear for your life. If it is truly self-defense, you will do whatever you need to do. Hair, pulling hair is a good way to get someone from stopping attacking, right? Understanding that it hurts quite a bit and it takes that person's hands and attention away from whatever they're doing, whether it's holding you, right? Whether it's pretending to or preparing to attack you, right? Then they have to focus on something else because they are in a lot of pain. Ears, right? Understanding, and we'll talk about ears in just a second because we're going to talk about Mike Tyson. Using your nails and your teeth, right? We have sharp little things on the end of our hands that hurt quite a bit if you rake it across someone's face or if you grab into someone's arm with it, or really you impact anyone's flesh with it with a lot of strength, right? With a lot of adrenaline. Meaning you may very well have the ability to put your nails into someone's eyes. This may very well be the best choice for you to ensure that you get out of that situation as soon as possible. Teeth. If you are in close quarters with somebody and you need to get out of there, and you have your mouth and it is near their ear, it is near a finger, it is near a hand, it is near an arm, your teeth are sharp and are meant, you got canines, are meant to be pulling flesh, meat off of bones, right? Understanding that if you really, 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 really need to, and there are a lot of people who have really, really, really needed to bite someone in order to ensure that they get away from that person, that is the right decision. Right? Now, all of this may seem very shocking. All of this may seem very, I don't want to do that. Right? Oh, I don't want to hurt somebody. I don't want to bite somebody. I don't want to bite somebody's, groin area. Right? Because that's not something I want to do. Oh, because that's not fair, right? If you're in it, you're in it. This is why we pick and choose our battles, y'all. This is why we understand that fight is not always right, because if you fight, you may very well end up having to bite somebody's ear. And none of us want to be in that situation. Some of us would rather, because this could possibly end in me having to bite this person's ear, put my finger into this person's eye, because my life's in danger, and because they're being violent, how about I just run away? How about I just kick them in the groin and then I run away? How about I just, yell something or throw something and then run away, right? Those are optimal situations. And just like Red Hammer said in the comments, self-defense means self-restraint. We want to restrain ourselves from having to be in a violent fight to the death, because nobody wins in a violent fight to the death. People survive, nobody wins. So next we're going to talk about some skills to learn, right? Skills that you can learn, that you can practice in order to ensure that, in a situation where you did have to fight somebody, where someone was trying to fight you, you needed to protect yourself with self-defense, that you're able to do so, right? And we're going to talk about our picking and choosing, right? Like I said, we want to pick some from boxing, we want to pick some from et cetera, et cetera. Let's do it. I'm a little bit leafy. It's a little bit fall here today, but nonetheless. So firstly, we talk about boxing, we talk about self-defense, we talk about safety in fights, right? The number one thing to protect is your head, right? If you didn't know, your head is your skull, which is a hard shell of bone. Inside of it has a very, very soft organ called your brain that is floating in liquid. And it floats inside of this shell and it does everything in your body. It makes your body do everything. If you were to get hit in your head and your head moved very fast and your brain, because of, relevant force and all that stuff or whatever, relative force, right? Your brain moves very fast. There's an impact to your head and, it hits the side of your skull, right? It's floating in liquid, so it is able to move around. It bounces around inside your skull. You can get what is called a concussion, right? Which can impact your ability to operate, your ability to think, your ability to move your body. Even worse, if you were to get hit in your head or fall and hit your head, there's even higher risk of you sustaining brain damage, which is some of the most traumatic, right? Some of the most dangerous injury that can occur. All of this to say one thing: the first rule of boxing is protect your head, right? Protecting your face, mostly your head, right? So when we box, first we're going to talk about our stance, right? Our off foot is forward. Our strong, our dominant foot, right? In this case, it's my right foot is back behind me, and my hands are in front of my face, right? Like this. Now, when they box, they have big gloves, right? I'm saying my hands are a lot smaller than boxing gloves, but putting them here means that no one is going to be able to easily strike my head, right? So having your hands up in front of your face is one of the first things, but moving your head is the second thing. Understanding that if someone punches at me, I can move my head backwards, right? I can move my head to the right or to the left, right? Just by sort of pivoting my feet. I can move my head to the right, right? It's called a soul. I can't remember the exact term for it, but you're essentially rolling your shoulder to move your head, right? More specific to boxing, understanding that you can step under punches as well is important, right? There are a couple strikes in boxing: the jab, right? The straight, right? The hook, and the uppercut, right? So a jab can be easily, you pivot to the side, right? You have your hands up here, and a jab will come and just, hit your hands, right? It will not hit your skull, right? If there is a hook, you can step under it in boxing, right? We might have a boxing class where we talk more about specifics of how you, learn the footwork, right? Exactly to getting into it, to, slipping punches, and it's called a slip, right? And stepping under them. But it's important just to know to protect your head, right? We also want to learn how to punch from boxing, right? Punching from boxing is very easy. It's very simple. You have your hands in front of you, and you extend one arm out so that your fist is facing forward, right? With your thumb under your fist, right? We don't do this. You will break your thumb. The second you hit anything, you'll break your thumb. It's not good. We do this. See that? We curl our fingers up, to a ball at our palm. We go over, right? So we're like this, okay? So a simple jab is we're from here protecting our face, punch out with our left hand, right? Keeping our right hand in front of our face, right? We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Not doing this, right? We're punching out. We're leaving one back in case a strike does come from over here, in case we do still have someone trying to hit our head, right? And with this one, a straight, throw it out the same way, right? Our fist is already balled up, thumb's already under it, right? It's rotating out. So it's just like that. And we're punching with the first two knuckles, always. Because these are supported by bone straight back through your forearm, as opposed to these, which are just sitting on cartilage, ready to break off. I'm gonna move my set real quick so that we can accommodate our comrades here at the Creek House. But that's okay, I'm still here. I'm still here. Hey, so here, playing in the leaves. It's fall, y'all. It's fall. I'm moving back. Hey. All right. Don't worry, y'all. I'm still here. I'm still here. Everything is okay. The lawnmower is back. But we're doing good. We're doing good and we're doing live. We live with it. Yep, no such thing as a fair fight, just like you said. Chief Mace. Let's see if I did it perfect. I'm just lining up my second camera here. You know, for the YouTube video, so y'all should make sure you subscribe, right? Make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can see the video when it comes out, talking about self-defense, boiling it down, letting y'all know a brief version of this training. So yeah, boxing, right? Protecting your face, knowing how to punch, right? Knowing how to punch, knowing how to punch, right? Keeping our hands up here, right? Knowing how to punch, knowing how to move our head, right? Understanding, make sure I'm still in the frame, still am understanding that, hey, sometimes you gotta move your head, right? If you can see a punch coming, move your head. That's gonna be your tip of the day. If you see a punch coming towards your face, move your face. All right. There's a reason we don't just assume that learning how to box, knowing how to box is enough for self-defense, though, right? The reason being, when people box, they have gloves, right, on their hands. Gloves that weigh, 16 ounces and up, right, that are padded, right? They have hands that have been wrapped, right, to ensure that their wrist is stabilized, to ensure that their fingers, their hands do not break whenever they're impacting with someone else's body, right? Boxers also have mouth guards in to protect their teeth, right? Some, fighting sports even wear headgear when they practice sparring, right? Because they don't want to hurt their skulls and their brains, right? You do not want to get into a bare knuckle fighting match with someone you do not know on the street. Bare knuckle boxing is not for you. If it is for you, hit me up. Join Black Hammer Defense. Join the Black Hammer Defense training office. Hit me up at bhdtraining@protonmail.com. Send me an email. We'll talk it out, right? Most likely, you do not want to be suffering the broken fingers, right? The broken hands, the broken wrists, right? The broken orbital structures of your face, right? That can occur whenever you enter into a hand-to-hand, bare-knuckle fight with someone. People die in bare-knuckle boxing. Another thing to know in boxing, the sport, right? Someone gets knocked out, right? Boom, boom, boom. I hit him in the side of the head. Oh, he falls down. Boom, he hits the ground, right? His head hits the ground. His head hits a mat like this, but softer, right? A big mat that they run around on, they bounce around on, right? They bounce up from, right? They hit it and they ooh, like in wrestling. The real world does not have a mat for your head to land on if you get knocked out in the street. Your head is going to hit the ground. The ground is often made of dangerous and hard materials, such as concrete, such as asphalt, such as rocks, such as curbs, right? The simplest fight can be over because someone got hit or someone even tripped, stumbled, and hits their head on something and they can die. It's happened. You can fall and you can trip on the street and you can die, and the chances of that happening to you, the chances of you falling, right, because you got hit, because you got knocked off balance, because you're running from someone, there's no map for you to fall on. So boxing does not translate to self-defense. You don't got gloves. You don't got a mouth guard. You don't have a referee that's going to tell somebody not to punch you in the back of the head, not to punch you below the belt, not to punch you in the kidney over and over until you bleed or you pee blood. You don't have that, right? So don't assume because you know how to box that you're going to be able to sit there and go some rounds with the person in the street who is ticked off at you, right? A person who wants to fight you, who doesn't like you, right? Who wants to do harm to you. That's not boxing. Boxing is a sport. But we learn good things from boxing, like protecting our face, how to punch, different types of punches, right? All that kind of stuff. Kickboxing. Kickboxing is like boxing, but there's one difference. I bet you can't guess what it is. So the feet, the legs, are limbs that are utilized by kickboxers as well as the hands, right? Understanding that now you have 4 limbs you're working with, right? You have your feet, right? And you have kicks, like, you may have learned, from the Kung Fu class, different types of, kicks, right? Understanding, me, I got long legs. I got long arms too, but I got long legs, right? A lot of people may have long legs. It is safer for me to try to get you away from me to just kick you. Most people don't expect it, right? So what we can get from kickboxing and Muay Thai is the art of kicking, right? So let's talk about the art of kicking right now. Okay, so we got my feet in my fighting stance, right? Off foot forward, dominant foot behind me, right? My feet are facing at an angle, right? With my hips, but I'm looking this way, right? If I were to deliver a kick from here, I pivot my first foot and I snap out and I pivot back, right? I pivot, one of my hips up, and I snap out a kick, right? That's good. If you watch MMA, if you watch UFC, you will see a lot of times people are not prepared for someone going like this and hitting them in the head. Hitting them in the head. Now, I've trained to the point where I'm flexible enough to kick above my head, and I'm a pretty tall person, right? So being able to kick above my head is what I might go to if there was someone who was trying to hurt me, right? A simple kick, it doesn't overextend my body. It allows me to keep my head, keep my arms back here, right? Still protect my face, but kick somebody, right? So, we're able to maybe punch, and then kick, right? We were looking to actually fight somebody in the style of a kickboxer, right? Punching and kicking, right? Moving back into it. Understand you can kick with your front leg too. Again, you do not have pads. You do not have a referee. You do not have a soft, nice mat to land on whenever you're in the street, whenever you're walking home from having a couple drinks with your friends, right? And there's someone who's being belligerent, who is calling you slurs, who is coming towards you to commit some violence towards you, right? There's no mat for you, and there's no mat for them. So when you decide, okay, I'm going to defend myself, I'm going to use my boxing and kickboxing skills, and I'm going to, retaliate in self-defense to ensure that I'm safe, right? Understanding that if you kick that person and they fall back and they hit their head and crack it open, that is not self-defense, right? That is what we call killing somebody, right? Legally, it'd be very difficult for you to prove that you did that to retaliate against whatever they've done against you, right? Unless they had pulled out a lethal weapon, right? Unless it was, intended or stated that they were going to attempt to take your life, they're going to put you in a high amount of danger. You retaliating with that, even if it's not intentional, with that dynamic, that mortal of an attack, is not going to put you in good moral standing with the law, right? But if it's the only thing you can do, it's what you must do, right? So understanding kicks are very good. Kicks also catch people by surprise because most people think street fighting or just fighting in general is just your hands, right? It's just boxing, right? So when you kick somebody, it surprises them. This is good. This is a good tactic to use, right? If you have to kick somebody, a good place to kick them is in the groin, right? So understanding there was someone in front of me who was running towards me or walking towards me, was trying to attack me, right? And I'm standing right here, just kicking straight with the top of this foot. We don't kick like this, right? We don't kick with our toes as the point of contact. The top of our foot, this flat top of our foot, is the point of contact, right? You can do a lot of damage to someone's specific organs if you were to kick them there. So let's say I was being approached by somebody, they was being aggressive towards me verbally, maybe they pulled out a weapon, maybe they had hit somebody already, they were coming to hit me. What I could do is just kick them in the groin and run away, right? Understanding that we don't necessarily want to engage in a whole fight. We just want to make it very clear that you cannot do damage to me, you cannot take my life, you can take this foot in your crotch, and then I'm going to leave and continue to survive. And that's why we talk about cardio as well. It's not all about hitting the weights. It's not all about hitting that sparring, right? Hitting those pads, right? Punching that heavy bag. It's not all about that. It's also about how far can you run? How fast can you run? And would you be able to protect yourself by vacating the premises very quickly? Most people are not looking to chase a human being down, right? Most people who are going to be committing violence in the street are likely, in need of something, right, and are attempting to rob somebody, sometimes with a weapon, sometimes with just threats, right? It is not a fun thing to do, have to chase somebody down, and humans are dang good at running. A little bit of history for you. Humans can hunt most every animal by chasing it because of the capacity that our endurance system has, right? Our cardiovascular system has, right? We sweat, right? And we have really powerful lungs, which means we can cool ourselves off, we can catch our breath, and we can chase things down. Essentially, chasing them until they are tired enough to just lay there and then be hunted, right? Two humans chasing each other, not super productive, especially if you work on your endurance capacity, right? You work on your lungs, you're making sure you're not, hurting your lungs in a whole lot of ways, right? Understanding we all have colonial contradictions, we all have our own addictions and everything, but let's face the facts. If you are inhaling carcinogens, that's smoke, right, consistently, right, and specific carcinogens as well, such as whether it's this vape stuff, whether it's cigarettes, whatever, right, understanding the toxins and poisons that has in it itself, you're reducing your lung capacity and the lifetime of your lungs. So we want to have good lungs, right? We want to have lungs that are prepared as well, right? So considering cardio as something you should be doing consistently, right? You should be trying to run a couple of times every week, right? Trying to see how long will it take you to run a mile, right? Mile times differ. The fastest mile is somewhere around 6 minutes, right? If you can run a mile, see how long it takes you, and then a couple days later run it again and see if you can get that number down, you're on your way to improving your cardio ability, improving your chances of being able to just run away from a conflict that would otherwise be lethal for someone involved, right? So we're gonna review. All right, we're gonna review. I'm gonna check the comments. We're gonna review. Uh, Someone said, "Fight the leaf pile." Yes, I will vanquish these leaves for having trespassed upon my realm. And then someone also said, "How do I defend myself from the vaccine?" And the answer is, you stand up and you fight. And you stand up and you fight by going to facebook.com, finding the March on the CDC Facebook group, and joining it, right? DM me if you want an invite to the group, right? We be protesting at the CDC every single Friday for Fraud Fauci Fridays, right? Showing that we deserve to have dictatorship over our bodies. We deserve to say, hey, I'm not going to put that inside my body. I don't want that, okay? I got choice. I got consent. I don't want that. And not being penalized by losing our jobs and being vilified, becoming second-class citizens, et cetera, et cetera. I won't run on about that. You can check out the Facebook group. We got plenty of stuff for you there. But that's how you can defend yourself from the vaccine. You can also defend yourself from being tired, being sluggish, by getting up tomorrow on Tuesday, 8 a.m., for calisthenics. We're gonna be doing some great circuits of workouts to keep working on our muscles, working on our core, right? Working on our endurance, right? Ensuring that we are able to move around in our own living room, garage, whatever it may be, and get ourselves stronger and more fit, more healthy every day. So to review, self-defense. What is it? It is all of these actions, all of these decisions, and all of these skills that go into you surviving a dangerous, life-threatening situation and going on another day, live your beautiful colonized life, to see the day where you're not colonized anymore, and by fighting for revolution at blackhammer.org/join. The parts of self-defense are, as I laid out, physical fitness, your body's ability to do things well, do things efficiently and consistently, right? What does it say? Situational awareness and alertness, right? Understanding that, hey, if you see somebody getting agitated, you see somebody looking like they're going to pull out a weapon, looking like they're going to start a fight, you can turn around and walk away. You can go somewhere else, right? You can remove yourself from that situation. I was on outreach and I saw somebody start getting aggressive with someone else. You know, two colonized people getting one of them getting aggressive, beginning to threaten the other one. And there was a third individual who was sitting right there. He got up and he walked away. He made sure that whatever goes on in that situation, it will not be putting him in danger. He got out of there. Situational awareness lets you do that. If he had been listening to headphones, if he didn't hear the words that were being said, he had been having his eyes in the book, he could have sat there the whole time and could have been a victim of some violence. Third, martial arts. Understanding that we need to look at the ways that different cultures, different historical groups, right, have practiced different arts of defending yourself, of attacking and defending and evading, right? We don't need to dedicate 10 years to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to know how to survive if someone starts trying to attack you in the street or at the bar, right? All we got to do is be very well studied, be well read, be well trained, and make sure we pick bits and pieces here. You know, we say, oh, okay, boxing? Put my hands up, protect my head. Head's very important. Boxing, right? This is how you punch. This is how you punch without breaking your hand. Boxing, right? This is how you can avoid a punch. Boxing, right? I don't need to be a boxer to know those things, right? We also talk about fight ain't always right. You don't always need to engage in violence to be safe. You can turn around and run, right? You can make the decision, because you have to understand a lot of the situations aren't just one person coming up and getting aggressive, right? Sometimes someone will come up and say something aggressive, say something rude to instigate you, and then you say, oh, really? What's up then? And they say, what's up then? Oh, I'm gonna show you what's up, and then it begins to escalate. It escalates, and then there's violence, right? When you can say, sorry, man, I'm not doing this right now, I gotta go. Turn around and leave, right? They probably won't say what's up then. Oh, okay, what's good? If you do that, because you have, first stated that you're a non-combatant, right? You will not make me into an equal in this fight because I'm going to exit this fight, and you exit the fight, right? Also, we want to make sure that someone pops off on us, puts us in a situation where we have to defend ourselves, there's only so far you can go, right? Stomping somebody out in self-defense does not exist, right? Giving someone severe head trauma, severe brain trauma in self-defense is not taking the moral high ground, right? It is not having that moral righteousness, and it is not having that legal righteousness, and you will go to jail. Another one, there are no rules when you are in it. You are choosing to put yourself and this person into a life or death match. So everything goes, no holds barred, bare knuckle, literally. They won't have gloves on, you won't have gloves on. There won't be a soft mat to lay on at all. There won't be a referee that says they can't put their fingers in your eyes. So understand, if you had to put your fingers in their eyes, you need to do it. Boom. Next. Next was just skills to learn, right? Boxing, protecting your head, right? Kickboxing, knowing how to use kicks. Cardio is really important just for making sure that we're able to get away, right? Making sure that, if you did have to fight, if you wanted to go on and be a boxer, you'd be able to fight for longer because you run more, because you jump rope more. So practice those things. We're going to wrap it up, though. Thank you so much for being here, for tuning into the live and the Zoom, for watching this video. It's really awesome to have so many people supporting the channel, supporting the work we do in Black Hammer Defense. Send that bread to hashtag BHDefenders on Cash App. Make sure I can get clips for the dang on barbell in there so a plate don't fall off and break my good foot or my other good foot, right? I need some cash. Send it our way. Any donation counts. It really helps us expand the trainings we do to ensure that all colonized people can be fit, can be disciplined, can be healthy more than anything, and can survive to see another great day of this revolutionary life. Without further ado, I'm going to leave y'all. I'm going to say peace. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for calisthenics. We're going to be doing some burpees again, y'all. We're going to be doing some push-ups again, y'all. I can't wait for it. Y'all have a great rest of your day.